I've never seen a ghost look like this prior.
We're on camera and we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah! We're back with part 2 of our ghost story from high school.
Today we'll be talking about when we were in the darkroom together with like
4 or 5 other people, and we will tell you about our ghostly experience.
Yes.
Now I will forewarn you, throughout this entire thing, I was sitting in a corner like this, because I did not want to see. So it started off where we were all doing work, just like a normal day. It was during our normal photography class. We were in the darkroom, and we had just finished developing all of our things that we could for that day. Or at least I did. I don't know if you did or not.
No, I was still developing.
I just didn't care enough to make it look perfect.
I was over in my little darkroom corner working on developing photos, and this guy Bob comes over to me. And I didn't really ever talk to Bob. Monica talked to Bob a lot, but Bob and I just weren't friends. So Bob comes over and he goes, "You can see stuff, right?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I can see stuff. Like, I have 2 eyes, 20/20 vision with my glasses." And he's just like, "No, like, you can see beyond." And I'm like, "Beyond? Yeah, why?" And he goes, "Just come here. So we walk all the way down past the rest of the enlargers, and we look towards the revolving door. And he didn't tell me what I was looking for, but instantly I saw it. I've never seen a ghost look like this prior. Standing in the revolving door, but it was this completely white figure, no features or anything. From his torso up, it was solid white, and he was just standing there. And then below was fading in and out and in and out and in and out. But you could see that it was there. So of course, him and I are like, should we tell people? Like, what do we do about this situation? Like, it's not harming anybody. I honestly didn't even feel its presence. And this girl, Malachi, who we've talked about Malachi before, is like, "Hey, why are you staring at the door?" And she looks and she says she kind of sees it. So then this girl, Amanda, comes over, and Amanda's just like, "Oh yeah, I see it too. And we're like, "What do you see?" And she couldn't explain it, so we don't think she could actually see it. But, Malachi, Bob, and I had all seen it. We didn't, tell each other what we saw, so we know we all saw the same thing, and we weren't just imagining it.
Well, you were like, "You should come and see this," and I was like,
okay. I couldn't.
And then you did get me to come in, because you were like, "Just come on in, it'll be cool." So then
Peer pressure.
Yeah, I'm really good at going with peer pressure. So, she was like, "Yeah, just go in." So we go in through the revolving door. I'm pretty sure you didn't tell me that it was in the revolving door. So I go through the revolving door, and she goes,
"It's chilly."
Yeah, I was like, "It feels kind of cold," and blah, blah, blah. And so I go in, and then she comes in right behind me, and I didn't look back at the door. I just walked over, and I saw all of them sitting there staring at the revolving door. And then Courtney comes through, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing?" And she tells me there's a figure in the revolving door, in the back room. And I was like, "And you made me go through it? It could have possessed me. It could have tried to grope me. I don't know." And so at that point, she was like, "Just look, see if you see it." And I was like, "Nah, I'll sit over here in the corner." And I sat right where we had this dryer sheet, so it was really warm. So I just sat there like this, and I went, "No."
Yeah, and Amanda...
And I was too afraid to go back out.
Amanda said, "Oh God, the cat scared me." Oh, there's a cat in the window, and I was just like, "It's back!" But then Amanda, who had said she saw but we weren't 100% sure, hopped up right next to her on the dryer, and then someone was over developing something in the sink. And I look over, and I'm like... You hear the cat on the video?
Probably.
So I look over behind this girl, and I'm like, "What's that?" It's another one standing right behind her. And so I go grab Bob, and I'm like, "Bob, do you see this too?" And he's like, "There's 2 of them." So now we've got one in the revolving door, one on the other side behind our developer sink. And I back up to where I'm against the back wall. The revolving door is over to my side. And then there were these 2 guys who were in the darkroom developing. We didn't really talk to them either. They were just in the class, so they were interested in what was going on. I think they might have been friends with Bob.
Oh, yeah, they were friends with Bob. Yeah.
So they were standing next to me, and then Malachi and Bob were chilling on the floor facing the revolving door. And then Malachi goes, I feel like something's touching me. And so we're like, she's probably just imagining it because there's 2 ghosts. Why would there be 3?
And I'm in the corner like, frick, why did I come in here?
Yeah.
Courtney, you tricked me. Oh, God.
She starts freaking out. Malachi starts freaking out. And she's like, it's a cheerleader. And we're like, what? And she's like, it's a cheerleader. It's trying to play with me. And so Bob and I look over, and there's this little cheerleader. I mean, of course you don't know it's cheerleader. It was got like little pigtails and the, skirt outline type of thing.
It had like the uniform.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like exactly our uniform, but you knew it was a version of our uniform.
And so she's sitting there chilling next to Malachi on the floor. And, like, I honestly, if I wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have believed this. And I understand some of you might not. But she's just sitting there chilling, playing with this ghost. Got a ghost next to me. Got a ghost over on the other side of the room. And then to top things off, near where Monica was, one manifests.
I was like, up here?
Next to Monica, and it starts to get the same, like, gray and white figure that everything else had. Some of them were gray, some of them were white. But they were close in color. It forms, and it doesn't have, like, a head or anything that you can really tell. It's, like, the body without the head. And it walks over and stands right in between me and the 2 guys that were over on the other side that were friends with Bob. And I said nothing. Absolutely nothing. And Bob goes, there's a 4th one. So at this point, a bunch of people are freaking out, and they hurry up, and we block everything that isn't light sensitive. We started cleaning everything up because we decided a couple of us wanted to try and talk to the spirits and see why they were there and, what had happened to them. And we opened up the emergency door, and everyone who was uncomfortable and freaking out with the situation left the room.
I ran like a screaming little banshee of a child.
So Momo and a bunch of other people are out in the classroom, and I don't know if we told you this before, but there's our classroom, and you have to walk through the graphic design classroom to go into the dark room. So it's not directly connected to the art room, so we had to watch how often we were like, in and out of there.
Yeah. Because every time you went through the revolving door, like, they would have a class and be like,
yeah. Or if you pushed on it, it would go like...
Someone locked me in there once and held it because that was after. And it scared the shit. And it was Bob. If Bob ever watches this, you know who you are, Bob.
We used to hide in there and, like, jump at each other and stuff, too. Like, we would revolve it just partially, and then someone would start walking up, because it's so dark in there, your eyes don't completely adjust.
Nope.
People would walk up to it, you hurried up and scare them. So... But
glad they never did that to me, because I'd probably pee.
And the curtains. People hide in the curtains.
Oh, God, I hate that curtain.
But the curtain was a divider in case one half of the room needed light and the other half didn't. I go back into the classroom, and I grab Bertha and Momo. We go up and we talk to the art teacher, and, like, the last time, Miss Art Teacher is like, no, that's not true, while a bunch of us are freaking out. Like, you've literally never heard this from anyone other than our class. And, she didn't really give us an answer type of thing, but she didn't care. She was like, just turn on the lights and leave. Everybody had left the dark room. Disclaimer, we did not experience this part firsthand. Nope. This part is what they told us. But I honestly believe they come, like, rushing out of the dark room, and we see Malachi back standing between the 2 classroom doors, and Bob and Amanda come up to me, and they're like, Courtney, you won't believe just what happened, and it was the most terrifying thing ever. And I'm like, calm down, tell me, like, what is it? Is everything okay? Did they do something to you? And they were like, we were trying to start talking to them and, like, interacting with them more and stuff like that. And this feeling of darkness and hatred and just, like, density in the air came over the room. And we didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, through the revolving doors, they said that they saw this, like, smoke substance that actually looked like tar. Like, it looked like it had the consistency of tar, but it was floating through the air. It came into the room, and like engulfed the room and started going up the walls, and the other spirits started fading out, and that's when they flicked on the lights and ran out of the emergency room and came and told us what had happened.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did really like it, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you really like us, you can subscribe and hit that notification button, and they will notify you whenever we have a new video. Toodles!